Welcome to episode 54 of Speaking Wrestling with Elvis Arroyo. And as always, I am your host, Elvis Arroyo. And this is episode 54, like I said, the coronavirus edition of Speaking Wrestling. Yes, folks, this is still Speaking Wrestling, but since everything is shut down and the way things are going, we're going to do a coronavirus episode. But I'm not here alone. Joining me on a very special edition for the first time ever on Speaking Wrestling, our very first guest, and joining me for this special moment, an expert in Wrestlemania and all things what's going on coronavirus. I thought, who better than to get the words of one expert living through this moment in time, because this is the part of their generation. This is my son, Avery Arroyo. Welcome to the show. Avery, say hello to everybody.
Good afternoon.
Yes, folks. This is, for full disclosure, this is, what is this, Thursday?
This is
Thursday. We're approaching 3:33. Yes, it is 3:33 on a Thursday afternoon. Very symbolic of the times. But we're doing this episode. It's the end of the world around us, or not. But we're going to do this episode, and we're going to speak. Don't worry, we're going to speak WrestleMania. We got a big WrestleMania news coming up. It just got announced this past week of what's going to go down. It's still going down, not canceled like everything else, folks. We're going to talk about WrestleMania 36. We're also going to talk about NXT. We're going to talk about the big main events. We're going to talk about Undertaker. We're going to talk Goldberg. We're going to talk Universal Championship, Women's Championship. We're also going to talk about what's after WrestleMania and what do we got looking forward to this. We're going to get all our thoughts into one episode 54. So join us. But before we get started, guys, I want to give you a reminder that you can subscribe to this podcast over on YouTube by clicking subscribe, and also giving us a thumbs up, guys. You could help us out a lot over on YouTube, guys. Also, you can get in contact with this podcast on Twitter at Speaking Wrestle and on Instagram at Speaking Wrestling, guys. You can also shoot us an email at speakingwrestling@gmail.com, and you can donate. I know this is time of need right now, but you can donate to this podcast. Do that first, and that's over at Cashapp, $ followed by Speaking Wrestling. Thank you guys so much right now. Any support right now will help us out, especially in this time. It definitely shows how much you guys care about the show. But let's get going, guys. Big news of the week is that WrestleMania 36 is not canceled. It is going to go down like scheduled, April 5th, live on the WWE Network. And this is going to be a one show that is going to stand out like any of the other WrestleManias. It's definitely going to be WWE. WrestleMania 36 will be held inside the Performance Center. And, you know, with SmackDown and Raw shooting already a couple weeks ahead without an audience, I want to ask you, Avery, do you like this, that WrestleMania is going to be held at the Performance Center without an audience? Do you like that idea?
I don't really, because WrestleMania crowd is supposed to be the biggest crowd of the whole year.
Yes, that's right. It's over 70,000 people were supposed to fill in Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. That's the site of WrestleMania. But again, folks, no audience will be in attendance for WrestleMania 36 as they go back into a studio-style wrestling, kind of like NWA way back in the day, for all you folks out there that remember the old days of Jim Crockett professional wrestling. But this is going to be exciting. I got to say, the fact that they have not canceled WrestleMania, what does that say about Vince McMahon? Do you think he's a genius, or do you think he's an evil genius for still going on with WrestleMania despite everybody else canceling their production?
I think he is a genius.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I gotta say that this right here is showing that there's one man who is not gonna be let by some virus stop his entire corporation and stop the entire business of WWE. I mean, it's professional wrestling. It's not sports. Yes, it's written, it's scripted in that sense. So there's really no sense of that there's anything real on the line, because it's really just entertainment. But the fact that they do carry themselves closely to the NBA, the NHL, and the NFL as being one of the top brands out there, they do tape a lot of their Raws and SmackDowns in professional arenas, and with those being out of luck and out of place right now because of no large gatherings, the WWE has backed up themselves into a position where they have to operate out of the performance center, and like you said, it's a genius move for Vince McMahon. I think so too. I think a lot of the criticism is that he is not stopping because he is a money hungry tycoon. But again, I really just think that it's Vince McMahon just showing the rest of the world that it's not going to stop him from doing his business and giving us WrestleMania. I think it's a exciting time right now, and I think people should be excited about WrestleMania. Despite no audience, they're not canceling the show, and I think that's a very bold move from Vince McMahon. What kind of matchups do you look forward to coming up at WrestleMania? Because I know some people have probably already given up on it, but there's some good stuff. What do you think is good?
What I'm looking forward to most is probably Edge versus Randy Orton in that last man standing.
Yeah, I think that's a good match right there, especially since it's Edge coming back. I know it seems it's like, because of this coronavirus, it's really spoiled some of the excitement and maybe some of the moments that us wrestling fans were looking forward to, especially Edge coming back at WrestleMania. I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime superstar, and this is his comeback to have a match at WrestleMania, and you one that I would think you need the audience. But, if they're going to go with this last man standing match, Randy Orton, Edge, I think those two guys can tell a real good story with or without a crowd. So, I'm excited for that one. Another big matchup that I think everybody really should be excited for is John Cena and The Fiend. Another match right here. It's a WrestleMania rematch. And John Cena, I mean, this is a guy who, as soon as his music hits, you're going to get the loudest reaction, whether it's boos or it's cheers. You need the audience for that. And then also with Bray Wyatt, who, he's known for the Firefly Funhouse and, again, for the Fireflies, that entrance of Bray Wyatt, you need the audience participation. But again, it's not always about just one thing. It's about everything. And the fact that we're still getting the matchup, we're still getting the storylines. I think it's something that we as fans still need to take credit and feel like, we're still going to get what was planned instead of it being canceled. Not all things are being canceled, by the way, folks. Again, this whole coronavirus shutting everything down. I mean, even down to, you can't even eat at your favorite local place. You have to go through a drive-thru or takeout. I'm sure a lot of you guys are experiencing that. So, all things are being, washed away and put aside right now because of this whole virus. But WrestleMania, it's still going on. And not only is it still going on, they've made the announcement this week that it is a 2-day event. It will be on Saturday and Sunday. Don't know how long each night is going to last. I would imagine that each night would be 3 hours long. It's going to be hosted by former New England Patriot Rob Gronkowski. He's going to be the host. He's just signed with Fox this past week. He's also a part of the NFL Fox team there every Sunday. So a good business deal once again with Fox and WWE, tying in the partnership with Fox and the NFL here. And again, good stuff right here. This is going to get a lot of the football fans that aren't watching football getting an idea of what can you watch. I mean, they're canceling everything to watch that's live, and then you tune into your screen or you hear the news, and Rob Gronkowski is a member of WWE, and WrestleMania is coming up. I think it's going to get a lot of people interested in the show. What do you think?
I think if he's going to wrestle in a match and win a match, it's probably going to be the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
I think so too. I mean, we'll see if that match is even going to happen, especially with, they say they can only allow a amount of people in a building, and now we're talking about a number of people inside of a wrestling ring. So who knows whether they do those battle royals or not. I don't think right now it's a big deal, but since it's going to be a 2-night event, I think we might see something else. I think we might see a gauntlet. We might see something different. So we'll tune into that. I hope everybody does. It should be a big night. WrestleMania. I mean, the fact that it's not canceled and it's still going on, I think it would be a good show for people to watch right now in a time where everything is being canceled. Anyways, moving on, guys. WrestleMania. You know, we talk about the fans. You take the fans out of WrestleMania. It's not the same. It's not the same if you take the Undertaker out of WrestleMania, as Undertaker will face AJ Styles at WrestleMania one-on-one. What do you think about AJ Styles' chances of winning against the Undertaker at WrestleMania?
I don't think he's gonna win. Like a legend like the Undertaker, I don't think he would lose to a guy like AJ Styles. And Undertaker might take the whole OC out at WrestleMania.
Yeah, when you're talking about the Undertaker at WrestleMania, obviously at this point, he lost only 3 times at WrestleMania, but this is his event, and he's gonna show up. And again, you take the audience out. Again, Undertaker's entrances is very symbolic and very keen every single year. You look forward to who his opponent is, and then you look forward to hearing Undertaker's music and him walking down that long entrance. And then this year it's going to be a lot different, a smaller entrance down at the Performance Center, and then no audience. So you're going to get a whole different aspect to the Undertaker's entrance for the first time in a very long time, without the audience. But what about AJ if he is victorious against the Undertaker? What comes after WrestleMania for AJ Styles? Do you think AJ Styles at this point could be in line to become the next #1 contender on Raw? Do you think that?
Maybe. I mean, when's the last time he's won a WWE championship?
I think since he lost it to Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, I think it's been a long time since he's been champion. Maybe if he beats the Undertaker, he'll be next in line.
I think if he beats the Undertaker, I think that'll give him a boost. It will definitely give him something to talk about. Baron Corbin retired Kurt Angle at WrestleMania, but if beating the Undertaker at WrestleMania is a big deal, you definitely take something away from the legend of the Undertaker. I think AJ Styles right now, from what I've been seeing, he's probably the best heel on Raw. Despite all the other heels on Raw, I just think AJ Styles right now is playing big time. He's shooting for something bigger than just being the top guy on Raw. I think taking out the Undertaker, getting a win. I think after that, despite whoever is the champion, whether that be Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre, and let's get into that. Drew McIntyre wins the Royal Rumble this year, back in January in Houston, and makes it very clear that the next night that he wants Brock Lesnar. I mean, even that night, he made it very clear that he's coming after Brock Lesnar once he wins the Royal Rumble. And, of course, the Royal Rumble's match, the entirety, was aired last week on an episode of Monday Night Raw. Again, with not a lot of matches going on, they're replaying some Elimination Chamber and Royal Rumble stuff. And this past week on NXT, they played again some more classic stuff there. What do you think about Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar match? Do you think this is still the biggest match of the night going into WrestleMania?
I don't think it is the biggest match, but it's definitely one of the biggest matches.
Yeah, I think with Drew McIntyre winning the Royal Rumble back in January, you can definitely say that this is going to be probably the main event at WrestleMania, and it still could be. With it being 2 nights, now you have you're going to see 2 main events. So, if you headline Saturday night, I think that's a good chance there. And I think they might want to go with, Becky or Roman. I think Roman and Goldberg will close out one of these nights. But, again, with the audience out, being not a factor anymore, this would have been a big moment for Drew McIntyre if and when he wins the WWE Championship. It would definitely still be a big moment in his career. But again, you take that moment out with the audience, it's not the same. So I'd like to see Drew McIntyre still win it, because I think let's just get this over with. And Drew is the guy, and I think there's good opponents for him waiting to be challengers, and whether that be Seth Rollins, whether that be, like I mentioned right now, AJ
Styles.
Styles, or there's an Andrade. There's a history there with Andrade and Drew McIntyre going back to NXT. So who knows? I just think right now would be a good time for Drew McIntyre to finally win the WWE Championship. All right, guys, we're not going to run down the whole card, but we got some other big matchups. Of course, the Goldberg and Roman Reigns. I think that's going to be the biggest match that if you're a WWE fan or not a WWE fan, you're going to want to check out. What do you think about that match? Goldberg and Roman Reigns. Spear versus Spear.
Well, actually, when I was watching SmackDown and Roman came out and said that he was next, right when I thought that, I thought it's Spear versus Spear. And then I think the next week, Michael Cole actually said it's the Spear versus the Spear.
So, Spear versus Spear, who has the best spear, do you think?
Probably Roman Reigns.
Who don't you want to take a spear from?
Goldberg.
Goldberg?
Yeah.
I think Goldberg. I probably think Goldberg would probably hurt more, because he doesn't do it every single night. So he's not going to be used to taking care of a few guys, and he's always so jacked up and excited for every moment. So he's going to come out there and give you a real spear. Roman, he's a worker right now. He's doing this every single week. He knows how to take care of guys. I would probably take a spear from Roman just because he's not gonna hurt me like Goldberg will. I think Goldberg's mission is just to run right through you, which again, that's what makes Goldberg and the mystique of him. But again, who do you think will come out victorious on that one, Goldberg or Roman Reigns?
I think the person that will come out the Universal Champion is Roman Reigns.
Yeah, Roman Reigns, I think right now, I think this would be a good time for him to get back the championship that he never lost. He had to give it up because of cancer 2 years ago. And I think this is a good story. Goldberg are now playing a heel by accident. When you're put into the situation, and then you got Roman Reigns challenge you, you kind of turn into a face or a heel at this point. But Roman's been getting cheers nonetheless. I think the push for Roman Reigns to once again become the top guy in WWE, I have no problem with it. I think this is time for Roman, and I think again getting the title off of Goldberg, who does not need to have it, and putting it on a guy that's going to be there every single week for you guys. I think it's a good idea to put the belt back on Roman Reigns. And do we miss anything? Women's matches. We got Becky and Shayna. What do you think about that?
I think it's not going to be as big as last year's Triple Threat, but definitely something the fans want to see.
Yeah, I think the fans definitely want to see this. I think they want to see a challenge for Becky Lynch the most. I think this past year Becky Lynch has been the champion for 1 year, coming at WrestleMania, but it hasn't been an exciting championship run or one that you care to remember about. It's kind of hit and miss with me. I still don't think that this is. I don't know. I haven't really been excited about Becky Lynch since her winning it last year, but I think Shayna being a top challenge for her and taking the title away from her. I think Becky holding it for 1 year is enough. And I think Shayna having the championship would probably be a better idea. Kind of get a Ronda Rousey type of superstar in this case. What do you think about that?
I think Shayna Baszler is almost like Ronda Rousey. I mean, weren't they at one point in a group together?
Yeah, and they were together in the groups, but we've seen Ronda's true colors. She's liked by everybody there, and Shayna definitely makes it seem like she doesn't want to be liked by the locker room and by the talent back there. But I think this is going to be a good matchup, a good challenge for Becky Lynch, finally getting somebody that's kind of her equal. And also, what other matches we got going on? There's
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte.
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte for the NXT Championship. The first time that the NXT Championship will be defended at a WrestleMania in the main roster. No, it's the NXT Championship's been defended at Survivor Series. Adam Cole.
Well, no, if we're talking about WrestleMania.
Yeah, we're talking about WrestleMania, and this is the first time, yeah. Who do you think comes out of that? Rhea Ripley? Do you think it's her time to lose it to Charlotte, or you think it's her time to beat the Queen?
I think Rhea Ripley will beat Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I kind of go with if I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Charlotte wins.
But then she'd have to go back
Go
down to
go to
NXT.
NXT, but that's not a bad idea for NXT because
She's pretty good.
she's good, and she can make other people really good too.
Mm.
But where does Charlotte go? Is she gonna go back to SmackDown? Is she gonna go back to Raw? I mean, she is from Raw.
Or if she loses, is she just gonna go to NXT?
Or if she loses, she could stay in NXT. I don't know. We'll find out. Definitely interesting where she's gonna end up. I'd like to see her in NXT. I think right now, Charlotte, we've seen her dominate SmackDown. Unless she goes over there and tears that storyline of Sasha and Bayley, because man, I just forget that Bayley's the champion every week.
Does she even defend the title?
I know. I think she's defending it against maybe Naomi or one of those. We'll figure it out, or it'll be like a fatal 4-way. It's yet to be announced. Wrestlemania is still 2 weeks away, or about under a week away. And of course, some of the matches are set up. Like we said, we've gone over pretty much the big matches there. And then we've talked about the biggest news that we all know: coronavirus affecting us all, guys. And that's gonna do it for this episode of Speaking Wrestling, episode 54. Guys, you guys out there, take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Use hand sanitizer if you can, and don't buy up all the toilet paper. Save some for the elderly. That's it's something to see when we go out shopping and you see people that just want to get normal shopping items and it's sold out. I mean, it really sucks at this time. If you haven't prepared, or you're probably shit out of luck right now. So wishing everybody to stay safe and to just be alert during this time. Not putting any conspiracies out there. This isn't a conspiracy podcast yet. It seems like everybody all of a sudden has become a conspiracy theorist right now. And how could you not? You're in a time where you're standing by and listening to the news. Don't know to believe it or not because of so many conflicted storylines out there. If there isn't enough, conspiracies and conflicted storylines in the world of professional wrestling, there sure is a lot out in the real world. So if listen, I always say professional wrestling fans are like made for conspiracy theories because we cover angles, we cover all these conspiracies in the professional wrestling world. So yeah, it definitely makes us more curious to think about what's going on more than what's really going on. So, Avery, what are your thoughts on coronavirus as we close the show? Do you have any tips for people, and what do you think of all this stuff?
I think you should wash your hands. Most important, use hand sanitizer. Keep your hands clean. Don't touch your eyes and face. And yeah. That's really it.
Yeah, and it's really that simple, guys. I mean, just clean yourself, clean your area, keep yourself a distant away from people. I know the big term. I don't want to say it because it's just so ridiculous. The SD stuff. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining me on. Again, right now, you guys probably stumbled onto this podcast. Thank you so much for your guys' cooperation through this. And we'll be back again next week with another episode as we go home into WrestleMania. Next week, we'll do the full predictions going into it. Again, joining me next week, Avery. You down to do this next week?
Of course.
Of course. All right. You heard it here. He'll be back here next week for the big go-home edition into WrestleMania 36, guys. You guys out there, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and be alert always. And good night, Australia. Avery, anything else? Closing words?
Bye.
Bye. All right, bye, everybody.